See, it's never been easy to build your dream life. I'm not talking about the broccoli head, Miami lifestyle penthouse. I'm really talking about a life that when you achieve it, you won't even know. The transformation you would have gone under to beat the game or the cheat code of life would have transformed you into a person that you don't even recognize today. See, back in 2015, I achieved my goals. I was working alongside one of the biggest dating companies in the world, and I was getting mentored by a guy named Owen Cook. And life was on easy mode. And I thought it was just gonna be smooth sailing and my life was set. Oh boy, was I wrong about that. It all crumbled a couple of years later and I was left with a long uphill battle. Thought that would only take a couple of months. In fact, it took upwards of 9 years. I recently found a journal that had some of my writings and I realized after those 9 years, I had achieved what I'd written down. And I'm gonna tell you these 3 simple cheat codes that took me around the world to 36 countries, that got me speaking in front of thousands of people, that built a personal brand and attracted some of the most gorgeous women in the world, and connected me with the most powerful men alive. You see, I wasn't supposed to get this life at all. And I know because there was something inside of me that wouldn't settle. It was wrestling with a fire of inadequacy, of being the kid that was bullied or picked on, and that was never good enough for me. And I think that might have stoked the fire. That might have kind of helped the phoenix rise from the ashes where I didn't have any life to go back to. If you have a rough upbringing or school life, that is your biggest asset to have. And I think I was able to take that and focus it on one thing. And that one thing, the very first cheat code of my life, was dreaming the big dream, was dreaming a dream for myself that I was even a little bit scared of. I didn't know if I would be able to achieve it. But the idea of going, what if I could do it? What if that could be the thing? Because at the end of the day, I felt like a small in my life, and physically I was small. So the two things made me go, well, what if I was bigger than life? What if I could step inside the rooms? What if I could go to the places that everybody dreamed of? And that was the first spark. What if I could be bigger than I am right now? And in a weird way, I was able to write this down on paper and journal my thoughts and kind of dream up a dream that was bigger than the country I was in, bigger than the place that I grew up. And that allowed me to be fearless and take risks. And that was the first cheat code that I had. It wasn't that I had everything planned out, that I knew every step by step. It was never that to begin with. And I don't think anything in my life has been step by step. I think it's been fearless execution. And as my buddy Hassan would say, do more, think less. That's what I was doing. I was just doing. I would try anything and I would say yes to as many opportunities that came my way. And that allowed me to be able to really pick up the pace in the direction that I wanted to go. I questioned everything about my life. I questioned who I was, who I wanted to be, because in order to break the mold of who I was as this young kid, this young 17, 18-year-old, I had to not only break that person, I had to remold him into someone else. And that's pretty much exactly what it's all about. You have to understand that there was a bigger picture for me, but that person couldn't get there. Who did I have to become to be able to get that goal? And that gets me on to secret cheat code number 2. Don't get me wrong, everyone thought I was crazy. They thought, who is this lunatic that's going after that? And it first started in one avenue, then changed again. So I was never just locked in on one area. But the second thing that got me was that I started off as a golfer. And in golf, you have to have a golf coach. And I thought, what about in life? You kind of need the same thing. You need like a life coach, but that's such a bad term. I chose an avenue that I wanted to perfect communication. I wanted to get better and have control over a skill that no one really had control over. See, men have this idea that we're very good at 3 things. We all think that we can fight, we all think that we can get a girl or pick up a girl, and we all think we can make money. But in reality, that's not the case. A lot of the time, it's all ego just talking, and when it comes down to the fundamental skills, we don't even know really how to do any of them. And that's why there's boxing coaches, and that's why there's relationship coaches, that's why there's coaches that teach you how to make money. And so I thought, okay, let me get around the sun. I used to watch Gary Vee, and he talks about get around the sun. And that was an idea. He actually used a really bad analogy, being like, if you wanted to become, friends with Diddy, you could become his cleaner. And I thought, I was recently watching it, and I thought, that's a really bad analogy. He probably hates that analogy, but so I got around the sun. I wanted to get around someone any way possible. And not just anyone, the person that was able to level me up. I chose a person that had been on the journey already. So they knew the pitfalls, they knew the flaws, they knew the things that I had to watch out for. And that made my journey a hell of a lot easier. And so that person happened to be my mentor, Owen Cook, who taught me the ropes into how to make YouTube content and how to, talk to girls, how to be socially charismatic and gregarious and outgoing, everything that you see today. And then it came down to the final one that had the biggest impact was traveling. It made me realize that I could get on a plane for 6-7 hours, go to a new place, that a new culture, a new environment, I could learn and meet new people. And along my travels, I met some of the most incredible people that I learned first world, never before repeated historic events that I'll never get that information back. I'll never get that time period back. I took the opportunities, and those are things that money can't even buy. See, you think as you've grown up that things are always going to be the way they are, that everything stays the same. And to a degree it does. But to another degree, change is always happening. And so when you experience something right now, this may be the last time you ever experience it in your entire life. There are certain things, if you look back, the last time you logged on to online games in your PS4, Xbox or whatever, whether it's the last time you were at school, whether it was the last time you were at university, whether it's the last time you were the CEO of the company, whether it was the last time you stepped foot working for someone, whether it was the last time that you said goodbye to someone that you loved, whatever it was, there was a finale to that. And travel allows you to understand that, hey, you go to this store, you go to this restaurant, and then you go back again and it's not there. That will never be repeated. The food that you had, the people that you met. And so you really realize the finality of life, the taking every opportunity you could grab, because you never know when it was the last time that you'll ever be able to do this or see that person. And so travel allowed me to be bigger and to grow as a person and really become the person that I am today. So I definitely urge you to do those 3 cheat codes in life. Number 1, dream the big dream. Dream the ultimate version for yourself, the version that scares you, the version that you're terrified of, the version of you that is exhilarated, happy, and excited that it could possibly one day happen. Number 2, you got to get around the sun. You got to get around mentors. You got to get around the people. For me, it was a big thing that I did. I got around some of the biggest people in the world at a time period that will never be replicated in this life again. And I'm so happy I did that. And the last one is travel. And travel to whatever country sparks your interest. I don't know, recently for me, it's been Tokyo, Japan. I've never had an inclination to go there. I remember when I used to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater, it was Moscow, Russia, because that was part of the game. For me, a lot of time in GTA Vice City, it was Miami, and I've always got an affinity to Miami. Whatever it is for you, whatever that place is, go experience it. There's something drawing you there. There's something calling you. And so you never know what you'll experience when you're there. And again, it doesn't have to be this grandiose vision. It could be whatever version of you want to become, but at least dream bigger than you are now. At least understand that you should be looking back at your past self and cringing, being like, oh my God, who is that person? Because that allows you to understand that you are growing. And even though those experiences don't shape who you are now, but in the past, there'll be a version of you that'll look back now and go, oh my God, I can't believe you're so cringe for doing that. There'll be a version of me looking at this camera going, oh, this is so cringe. But you'll understand that you know that progress is happening when you're experiencing that.